I now call Deputy Sean Kyne. 7 minutes remaining.
Gormagat Lascan Corla. I'm happy to say a few words on this bill. Like many members, I'm a former member of local authority of Galway County Council for 7 years and served with many people that entered this House in 2011 and indeed before that. And serving as I did in the Connemara local electoral area, I have to say that I felt the whole system did work quite well in that area, and I'll expand on those points later on. I think that obviously local government is currently overseen by the Local Government Act of 01, and this Act consolidated the previous acts concerning local governance. And the Putting People First document, which I think is a well drafted document and is an action plan for effective local government drawn up in October 2012 to reform. Putting people first represents a culmination of time, energy and effort into designing a more effective system of local government. Putting people first outlines the range of possible reforms in 4 broad strands: reforming structures, reforming funding, accountability and governance, involving local government in economic development and job creation, and maximising the efficiency and effectiveness of service delivery. This bill here this evening builds on these strands and introduces the necessary changes to enhance the functions, performance and structures of local authorities, with the overarching aim of ensuring the highest level of public service. The localism of our politics and of our national parliament is an issue of much debate, and one which attracts negatives and positives. It is in many ways detracted from our system of local government. Added to this are the different experiences of councillors across the country. I think it's fair to say that councillors in urban area, in some cases certainly in my area, can often attain more attention than their rural counterparts, particularly media attention. The recent RT documentary focusing on the constituency work of TDs, I think, which was a very well produced programme and demonstrated close interaction of local citizens and the national parliament system. And it's interesting to note the difference of commentary on this, some negative and some positive in terms of the hands-on approach that TDs would have in terms of politics, more decrying the system, and that the role that TDs have should be more confined obviously to the national stage and national debate rather than to local issues. One important issue remains, however, how do we reconcile the apparent low ratio of representations to voter as produced as compiled in the Bill's document, which I think is interesting in terms of the amount of constituents required to elect people to local authorities in many different areas is much lower than you would have here in this country. And that wouldn't be the public perception, of course. The disparities are compounded by the uneven spread of town councils across the country, and these are historical in nature and reflect a long since changed Ireland. In my electoral area that I was elected in 2004 in Connemara, which is a voting population of around 30,000, for example, had no town councils. Indeed, the Galway West constituency going over to Annadown and down to Athenry and Clarendon Bridge, there was no town council at all. Of course, Galway City has its own city council. Meanwhile, another 80 locations have town councils of various size with various powers. Some have revenue-raising powers in terms of setting their local rates, by and large, but the day-to-day functions, by and large, are enacted by the county-based authority. Of particular note also the new chief executive roles and the new municipal district category. The relationship between the county manager and elected council members can often provide media outlets with much material. Without doubt, the fact that county and city managers are non-elected, appointed by the central government through the processes and in effect responsible to the minister is a factor in that. It can disempower the elected public representatives to a certain degree, in my opinion, sometimes creates unhelpful tension and an adversarial atmosphere. This bill contains a number of provisions to address this, not least enhancing the policy-making role of councillors. It is completely appropriate to increase the accountability and obligations of the Chief Executive and the heads of services towards elected councillors. As the Putting the People First document stated, municipal districts will be the first level of governance and democratic representation. The Independent Boundary Committee has declared that each municipal district will constitute a single electoral area with a membership of 6 to 10 councillors, and each county will have 3 to 4 such districts. Section 21 of this bill provides a new section for the Local Government Act 01, which outlines the new functions of councillors in the new municipal district level, and these include issues pertaining to property, dwellings and monuments, business, trading, environment, litter, roads and parking, local improvement works and a fund for community works. Earlier I referred to my position as councillor the Connemara electoral area, and I have to say that Connemara's local area system, I think, worked very well. And that is the model for the rollout across the country in terms of a municipal area. A confined area, as we were at that time with 7, increasing to 9 councillors, will elect a chairman and who will run the affairs of that municipal area as best they can. And as I said, I think that the councillors certainly that I worked with and that are still there now have been able to work well and perform those functions well, and I'm sure that will continue to do so. So I'm delighted to see that this local area model of governance is being enhanced and extended with the new municipal districts, because I think the people are ultimate beneficiaries of such an approach. Just a few other, I suppose, a few other things in relation to the realignment of the community and a community sector. This has raised, I think, some concern, although it has settled down somewhat now. And I think the most important thing is for those areas that are somewhat isolated. I mentioned in Connemara, where we have bodies like Forum Leitrim, which carry out a valuable service to the local community, that they would feel that they would be disempowered of the local community because they're an hour or over an hour away from county buildings in Galway City, that they would feel that any changes in realignment and providing more power to the local authorities would disenfranchise them. That is a concern, a genuine concern, because they provide a good service and people are able to obviously approach them, approach the workers on the ground to come forward with the proposals that they have, with the ideas, the plans for job creation or various other initiatives. And I'd like to see that obviously continued. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Obviously, it's important that bottom-up approach continues, and I know the Minister has advocated that won't change, that the bottom-up approach will continue. Just while you're there, Minister, as well, in relation to an issue that is coming up, and again, it's going to be a focus of, I suppose, the increased powers that councillors have. For example, the fire service, and Deputy Hayden mentioned it as well. You know, it's hard to believe in a county the size of Galway, where you have 7 fire stations in East Galway, we only have 1 in Connemara and Clifton, and you have a huge population in South Connemara without a fire service at all, which was raised last week in the council chamber, and where I think all councillors are in agreement of the need for such a service. And I know you'll be fully in support. I can see by your gestures that you're fully in support, and that'll be something that the local councillors will have to debate. And we have a situation with the property tax where councillors will have to make decisions in terms of what they do with these taxes to ensure that the services that they need, that they require, or that they deserve in the case of a fire station in South Connemara, that they get that. So I mean, obviously they're going to have to face the difficult decisions within the constraints that the country faces, and indeed that their local electorate face as well. So overall, Minister, I'd like to commend you for this reforming bill, and I'm sure that the rollout of the municipal districts will work very well.